Good morning, Ishtaras. Good morning, Mankoda. Nice to see you. How are you doing this morning? I'm sorry to hear about your breakup. Good morning, Nocturnal Queen. Good morning, Cat Calibri. Good morning, Squash Babe. Cat Calibri, you told me another name in Discord, and it's hard to remember two names for people, but I will try. Will you remind me? Hi, Cat. Good morning, Irish Goo. Good morning, Katie. Kathy. Good morning, Kathy. I will try to remember that. So that is an exercise that a teacher of mine taught me. I find it very grounding, and it's actually quite a test of focus to see how long you can sustain certain notes, and how long I can sustain changes based on where I am in the range. And so it also gives me feedback, gives me information about where in my range needs work, and where I can sing comfortably. And if I play around with different long sustains, can get different effects. It's a nice practice, and I like to start it with my morning. So we will begin with the Book of Deuteronomy. Thank you, Kim. There's a lot going on, but there's a lot of good growth. Well, I'm glad that you are optimistic about it. The communication is limited fidelity, so you get information like that, and I wasn't exactly sure how to interpret it. But I'm glad that you seem well. Where did I find this shawl? My partner gave it to me. Yes, it's an oil lamp. Here, I can show it to you. Oil lamp with a little flame. Thank you, Dev Culver. I do have a job, XOXO. This is my job. I'm going to be launching a Patreon very soon. I haven't had time with my students here to get it started, but my students are leaving in 2 or 3 days, and as soon as they're gone, I'm going to be able to prioritize this community a little bit more, and part of that is starting a Patreon and figuring out that aspect of the relationship. Yeah. So this is my job. Thank you. I'm glad you like the dress. What are we doing? Well, I'm glad you asked. We are going to be reciting a series of prayers, mantras, sacred words. Maybe they're just words. I don't necessarily know what to call them all the time. But more specifically, we're going to start with the Book of Deuteronomy. The Book of Deuteronomy comes from the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, and we're going to read some words that Moses says. So here's one thing that Moses says. Shema Yisrael, Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Asherah Eloheinu are one. Where did I get this dress? This dress was a gift from a friend of mine. I try not to buy clothing. Obviously I do, but it's nice when I get to wear things that other people have given me. And yes, everything I'm wearing right now was given to me by dear friends. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, all is one. The serpent eats its tail. That was not your microwave, that was my rice cooker. My rice is done. We will have breakfast together after this stream. And then Moses says, Ve'ahavta et anat Elohecha uv'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odeyecha v'chayu advarim ha'ele Asher Anochi mitzavcha Hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha V'dibarta bam V'shivtecha b'vitecha V'lechtecha havaderch Uv'shachbecha uv'kumeyecha U'kshartam le'ochut al yadecha V'chayu letotafot V'neineyecha Uchtavtaham al mizuzot beitecha uvisharechicha. What religion is this? This is Judaism of some flavor. I want to learn Hebrew too. This is in Hebrew. We are reciting words from the book of Deuteronomy. And I think there's some pretty important words. And I feel very lucky that every day I get to get up on here and tell people what these words mean. So that's what we're here doing. There are many of you who are asking that question, sometimes very politely, sometimes very rudely, and my moderators have been doing such a good job of being like, hey, why don't you listen? And I just think that is such a nice attitude. So thank you. Really, truly, this is a shared performance. Like, you see these dynamics that happen, right? Like, people come in and people move out, and we get the same questions, and, like, there's a way to respond to it elegantly, and it's so fucking cool to learn to respond to these things elegantly with you all. Yeah. So thanks. What do these words mean? Well, the first word is ve'ahavta, which is you shall love. Which on its own is a fairly interesting phrase, right? Like, it's a prediction. You shall love, right? Say these words, and you shall love. You shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And take to heart these instructions which I charge to you today. I say these words every day. Every day, I make sounds. They come out of my lips, and they move through the air as little vibrations, where they're picked up by a little electronic device in my phone and translated into electromagnetic radiation, light, and sent to a tower somewhere in the hills over there. And that tower routes the signal into a vast signal network, and eventually, as light is sent to your phone, only to come out back into the physical world, where it never left, back into the kind of physical world that you can experience as sound vibrations. And they enter your ears and they enter your mind, right? This is the process that this prayer wants, in a fairly deep sense. Take to heart these instructions which I charge to you today. Impress them upon your children, those whom you teach. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. So what does it mean? What does it mean? I say what it means every day. But, yes, these are prayers that Jesus said. In fact, I assure you that to the extent that there is any historical accuracy with the man Jesus Christ, who was crucified by the Romans, I can promise you that while that man was on the cross, he was saying these words. Repeatedly, actually. I'm quite confident of that. Right? That is part of the significance of these words, is that for thousands of years, Jews have been saying them. And in fact, somewhere in the world right now, someone else besides me is saying these words. In fact, many people are. Right? These words are being spoken simultaneously somewhere in the world and have been for the last 2,000-3,000 years. So, what do they say? Well, the words say, copy me. The words say, copy me. They say, take to heart these instructions, impress them upon your children, bind them on your hand, bind them to your doorposts. Mezuzot. How many of you have heard what a mezuzah is, right? Serious. So this is a quick question, right? Y'all are very talkative. How many of you have heard of a mezuzot? Just say yes or no. Mezuzah, right? What is a mezuzah? None of you. Well, no. Yes, no, yes. No, yes, no, yes. Not me. For the doorpost. Yes. Very good. All right, so let me show you what a mezuzah is. This is a mezuzah right here. This object. Right, and these are the words that I just said, right? Hear Israel, Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. And here's the mezuzah. This is a prayer scroll. And inside this box, you can see the scroll, and on the scroll is written the words that I've just spoken to you. Right? That's what a mezuzah is. Right? So the prayer, in biology, we talk about this distinction between genotype and phenotype. Genotype and phenotype. How many of you have heard those words? Genotype and phenotype, what do those mean? Or are you familiar with what a genotype is, as opposed to a phenotype? Is this religious? Yes, this is religious. You, yes. All right. No, yes. I have, yes. All right, so no, yes. More of you know what a genotype and a phenotype is than a mezuzah. That's cool. So genotype is the pattern in your genetic code, in your genes. Phenotype is the physical expression of that pattern in the world, right? So my genotype is XY, probably. I have an X chromosome and a Y chromosome for all of those of you who are very curious. And my phenotype is this image. This is my phenotype. Okay. My phenotype is hot. Thank you. So, in a similar way, we have this prayer which says, Al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha, right? Bind them to the doorposts of your house and of your gates. That is the genotype. And then here we have the phenotype. Look at that. In my house, there is this object. And behavior can also be phenotype, right? So whenever I say this prayer out loud, whenever I sing it to you, whenever it gets repeated somewhere in the world, this is the phenotype of Judaism being expressed, right? And the whole thing is self-replicating, right? The words say copy me, and so they are copied. And then they exist somewhere else. What is phenotype? Phenotype is the physical form that a living being takes, right? And for me, part of my understanding of what God is recognizing that God is basically the phenotype of my religion, right? All of the various expressions of its deepest patterns, be they the Holocaust or this prayer, all of them are the phenotype of my tradition, and that is God. Hopefully that makes sense to some of you. And there's a little bit more about the phenotype of my religion. It's an interesting way of talking about it. It's like Moses says these three things, right? Moses says, Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad, right? So Moses says, listen, Israel, all is one. And Moses also says, hey, copy me. Copy me. Say this prayer over and over and over again, right? And that is how you can become the people of Israel. All right. What next? V'haya, ki v'yacha Yahweh Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nisbai lavotecha le'Avram le'Yitzchak u'Yaakov v'tetlach avrim gedolot v'tavot asher lo vanita u'vatim mileim kol teva asher lo mileta u'verot hatzuvim asher lo hasatva ke'arim v'zitim asher lo natata ve'alachta v'shavata hishamer lecha pen tishrach et Yahweh asher tishacha mi'eretz Mitzrayim mi'bet abadim. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you, great and flourishing cities you did not build. Houses. Hold on one moment. That's better. Houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. So, if, once again, we use this genotype-phenotype metaphor to understand these lines, right? What does the line say? The line says, hey, when you go into the land of Israel, right? This is the land that the text promised you, right? When you express this phenotype, right? When you do the conquering, when Joshua goes down into Jericho and tears down the walls and kills and rapes the people inside, when this is expressed, remember that it's not yours, that you stole those cities, and that one day they will be stolen from you. This is the pattern of the tradition, right? This is the way that the cycle works. This is the way that God works, right? The land that you stole violently will be stolen violently from you in a cycle. Remember that. Remember that none of it is yours. And that is part of what God is. This is perhaps a different way. I've been explaining these words every day now for several years, trying to explain what they mean, and not ever quite put it into these terms before, but I'm hoping that perhaps some of you who have heard me say the same thing over and over again now, on hearing something slightly different, it might make a little more sense. Like, I view Judaism, I view God, right, as basically like the social and mystical response to repeated cycles of genocide, right? Repeated cycles of genocide that recreate themselves, right? And that incredible social force that can upheave nations every 100 of years and continue to cause the same trauma repeatedly, right? That force might as well be called God, right? And the entire tradition is about the people's relationship to that God. Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo ashani isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. Baruch atah Asherah, Hanat Melecha Haolam Asher Yitzar et Ha'adam B'chachama U'v'ra V'or. I repeat the name of Asherah Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. So, there are actually many gods in my tradition, and part of its history is this story of how many gods became one god, and how a multiplicity of characters became condensed and combined into this one omniscient trauma dealer. But there was a time before that where there were other characters of God besides trauma that we might get to know. And one of them is Ashura. This is Ashura. She was a goddess. She was Yahweh's spouse. And so I say some prayers to her too. Hey, thanks Ashura for making me with many openings and cavities. Hey, thanks Yahweh for not making me a woman. Good job on that one. Alright, so here's a song about trauma and how it creates as well as destroys. Ready? I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me, and Bethlehem inflamed us both, like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh. Some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again. And I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just a man. And we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Ashura is gathering all her children back again. You have this tattoo on your back, Disco Queen? Really? Well, that's cool. I heard someone else in the chat say that they had recently gotten this tattoo. That's memetics for you, right? The prayer literally says, bind this as a symbol on your hand. So here we are. So Ashura. Who was Ashura? Who's this goddess who gathers her children back? Well, she's a cannibal. She's a serpent that eats its tail. She's a tree with mushrooms growing on it. There are many characters of God, many ways to imagine what they look like. And I find that some of the older ones, some of the historically forgotten ones, can tell us something or two about maybe what God is in a more fuller sense. And that's one reason why I say these prayers. There's only one God, and his name is Yahweh. It's a little bit of discourse there. There's only one God, and his name is Yahweh. That is what Yahweh wants you to think. If I know anything about Yahweh, it is that that is Yahweh's firm belief. It's a bit Trumpian, isn't it? I won the election. There's no possibility, there's no any way that I could not have won. I am the only one God. There are none others besides me. I sit alone on my mountain, in my castle, in my house with no windows or doors, and I will insist over and over and over again that I am the only one God, and my name is Baal. Alright, I like those comments. I like those comments very much. There is only one God, and his name is Jesus Christ. But what about Jesus' dad? Right? We get into it. What about Mary? Right? She's worshipped like a goddess. Right? How many churches are dedicated to Mary? How much worship is dedicated to Mary? Like, what is a god but an idea that people worship? Mary is a god. Jesus is a god. Allah is a god. Yahweh is a god. All of these are gods. To claim that there is only one is ludicrous. Because clearly they all exist. We can say that they are all the same, right? We can say that actually, in their deepest core, they're all the expression of the same phenomena, right? Like they are the foundation of the universe. You can say things like that. But like to say that there's only one of them is like a category error. Like if I all right, there's only one God. There's only one God, and Jesus is God's child. God is God, Jesus is God's child. So we have some theological debates happening in the comments. Mary is not a god. All right, then why is she so important? How is the way that people worship Mary different from the way that people worship Jesus, or different from the way that people worship Yahweh? Yahweh is God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. Are they three or are they one? Allah is the Arabic word for God, and El is the ancient Canaanitic word for God. And Jesus is an American word for God, right? Jesus is a Spanish word for God. You don't worship Mary. Well, I do. Mary was chosen to give birth to Jesus. That doesn't make her God. Hi.
I think a bee just stung me in the chin.
A bee stung you in the chin?
I was being so nice to him. I was letting him check me out. He was really interested in me, probably because I smelled like a shower. And he almost got a little stuck in my shirt, and he almost got a little stuck in my hair, and I was like, it's okay, buddy, you can figure it out. You can have a sniff. And then he landed here, and I'm pretty sure he stung me.
Yeah, she stung you. You got a big lump.
And then immediately just like flew away, and I was like,
Oh.
I guess it's not sufficient to be nice.
Would you like to show all my friends your bee sting?
I actually haven't seen it, so it will actually, y'all will be a mirror.
It's pretty intense.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a serious bee sting.
That's schmutz.
No, but like you see, like right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sting. Look at that. It's like the biggest pimple ever.
Oh my god, that's really stupid. Is there a stinger in it? Because the bee just flew away, which makes me think that it's fine.
No, the stinger is gone, but
yeah I think the bee kept the stinger.
You've got some serious swelling.
I thought it was gonna look weird. Well, anyway.
My voice is so soothing.
It is. It is.
That's what they tell me.
Did you know that there's at least one anxious person on this thread right now who's feeling soothed by you?
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm learning these
great.
days.
That's why I ask you to tell me a story or sing me a song. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I think.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's not quite the same thing because I know you in a way that...
Right, we have a physical
that
relationship.
they don't, but like, yeah, it's the same thing.
I'm sorry you got stung by a bee.
Me too.
Yeah, do you want to hang out with me?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll sit here.
You'll sit here.
I'll sit here and drip melting ice on your bed. How about that?
Yeah. Hey, here's a rag.
Okay.
They're saying hi to you. They like you. Okay.
I like them too. They kind of feel like part of a support team.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Because this is you've wanted to be able to interact with people on this scale for a long time, and that's not something that any one person can ever give you.
No.
So.
But collectively, like, I love hearing what you have to say every morning. You're so kind.
Yeah.
Like, do you know that it changes one's psychology to every morning wake up and be told incredibly nice things about you? Like, It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It also changes your psychology to be told incredibly mean things about you.
Yeah, but I think you're more susceptible to the nice things than the mean things.
I am. And like, as this goes on, the nice things get nicer and, like, more sophisticated. Mm-hmm. And the mean things don't get more sophisticated. Because, like, they... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you came in, we were having a disagreement about whether Mary was a god or not.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, she's absolutely a goddess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I have a functionalist definition of God. Like, God is a character that is worshipped.
Right.
Right? And, like, how many churches are dedicated to Mary? Like, all of them.
Right.
Like, she's...
Right, but when you talk about it as monotheism, so fully,
Mm-hmm.
you're not like, wait a second, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, those are kind of three gods.
Yeah, they are. And there used to be a fourth one.
Right, Mary.
Yeah. Like, Mary and the Holy Spirit are the female ones. God and Jesus are the male ones. Like, that's
yeah?
been the structure. Yeah.
Is the Holy Spirit female?
It's a not.
Today, though? Like
No.
when it's talked about, I as a non-Christian, I just assumed it was three
Yes.
men.
Yes. But, like, if you trace the tradition back, like, the Holy Spirit was the, you know, it's the same spirit that, like, comes down in Exodus and kills all of the firstborn people. Right, the Holy Spirit, like, then, like, it's the spirit of life and death. And makes various appearances throughout all of these stories. And the earliest one is Anat, right? She goes down into the underworld and she brings Baal back. Like, that's the same Holy Spirit that resurrects Jesus. Like, the stories are the same story. So if you map the characters onto them, then the Holy Spirit is Anat.
Right.
But, like, yeah,
This is what I mean by you're interested in evolution has not changed in a certain way, but it's changed.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an evolutionary argument about
Yeah.
the nature of God. Like,
Yeah.
you can do character analysis, you can track the patterns back, and be like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
I should read the Baal cycle with you all sometime.
Yeah.
'Cause I think about it a lot. Yeah.
I'm overheating. So
You're
I think I'm
overheating.
even though I have ice on my face.
My room is very hot.
So I think I'm gonna go.
Okay.
But I like hanging out with you.
I like hanging
a
out
little
with you too. I'm sorry you got stung by a bee.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go make a baking soda
Yeah. Go do that.
thing.
Yeah.
I did chew on a piece of plantain and have it on my face.
Yeah, I saw
on
that.
On my way down.
Yeah.
You
was
saw
good.
that?
Yeah, you were like, this is schmutz.
Oh, the
That's
schmutz was the plantain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Bye.
Goodbye. You tried reading the Bible again, but you find it comical instead of enlightening. Well, maybe you could read it like a genome. Like, hi text, why is this pattern here? What did the pattern look like before? Maybe what it looked like before can tell me a little bit about what it looks like now, and how to understand what it looks like now. Do I live in a commune? Yes, I do. God is not dead, he is alive. I believe that God is both. I think that God is a serpent that eats its tail, a thing that is neither dead nor alive, but both. Am I a boy or a girl? Yes, I am. Alright. So, Sanskrit. Never find the Sanskrit. Here it is. Here's the Sanskrit prayer. Gajananam Buddhaganati Sevitam Kapita Jambupala Sarabakshitam Unasutam Sokavinasakaranam Mahamim Bigneshwa Pada Pankajam Sadananam Kunkumaraktavarnam Mahamatim Divyayuravahanam Rudasyasinam Sarasananatam Guham Sadanam Saranam Prapadye Yaku Hendutu Sarahadavala Yasupravasvarita Yavina Baranda Manditakara Yasveta Padmasana Ya Brahmachuta Sankara Pratrapi Vasata Pujita Samampati Saraswati Bhagavati Nihi Sajadyapa Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanchaya Santaya Shri Shivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnu Devanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Saranye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostite Narayani Namostite Om This is Sanskrit. This prayer is from the Shivananda yoga tradition. Shivananda was a guru in India. He sent a man named Vishnu Devananda across the sea to the United States to start a religious institution, which he then did. And my mother took me to this religious institution when I was very young, and over the course of many years I learned these words. These words are said at the start of pranayama yoga practice, breathing yoga. I've done breathing yoga with you all several times. Last time I did it on my server. I will be teaching more pranayama classes on my Discord server soon. So if you have interest in breath yoga, it's a little bit outside the scope of the stream today, but I will be teaching pranayama classes on my server in the near future, so you should join. Yeah. Let's do another prayer in Sanskrit, shall we? This one is called the Maharityunjaya Mantra. And the first word is Om. Jayambakam yajamahe sigantim pushtivardhanam Arva rukami bhavandanan mityar mukshiyamamritatom Jayambakam yajamahe sigantim pushtivardhanam Arva rukami bhavandanan Mrityar mukshiyamamritatom Sarvesham svastir bhavatu sarvesham Shantir bhavatu sarvesham Purnam bhavatu sarvesham Mangalam bhavatu Sarve bhavantu sukhina Sarve santu niramaya Sarve badrani pashantu ma kashid tukabag bhavid asatoma sadgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Om, that outer world is full. This inner world is also full. From fullness comes fullness, taking full from full. Fullness remains. Om, peace. What's up?
I was just sitting in the kitchen and watching you on live, and I thought that's silly. So I just thought I'd come up and say hi.
You're cute. Do you want to say hi? Like, actually?
Yeah, let's do it.
You could also, like, if you're sitting watching me on live, you can just invite me, and then you can just say hi that way.
That's
That
true.
is also acceptable. I want these people to know who you are. It's important.
Hi, friends.
This is my friend Jules.
Hey.
You should follow them.
Some of you probably already do.
Some of you probably already do. I think that's highly likely.
I think a lot of my followers follow you too.
They do.
Yeah.
It's true. They make mushroom videos. They're really cute.
Ah. Yeah, it was just very silly for me to be sitting in the kitchen eating my breakfast and watching you and Rachel talk about bee stings and being like,
I'm just here on the floor so that my baking soda dries without.
Are we men or women?
Yes. No.
see, when I'm asked, am I a boy or a girl, my answer is yes. But if somebody asks me, am I a man or a woman, my instinct is no.
Well,
Yeah.
that says something not about gender, but about life stage.
Yes.
I don't know.
Boyhood and girlhood are different concepts than manhood and boyhood.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, people ask me, like, were you born a man or a woman? I'm like, no, I was born a baby.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't actually think, like, I think it does say something about life stage, but I think it also says something about my, like, level of comfort with gender roles assigned to children versus gender roles assigned to adults.
Interesting.
Very weird shit.
Doesn't matter, we're beautiful.
It's true!
That's
Aww.
You're a keeper.
Yeah.
So I was gonna do this song by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. Do I have it printed out here? I don't. That's too bad.
Oh, dang.
Well, I can just pull it up. I mean, although the lyrics that are written are not quite the same lyrics as,
Just try. I'm leaving again.
okay, bye.
Bye. Bye again.
Bye, Rachel. Feel better.
So here's the lyrics. I changed them a little bit, but there they are. You can read them. And, yeah, so we're gonna sing a song about prayer. And what I've been really enjoying is, as I'm singing, if y'all could tell me what you think prayer is, because there's actually quite a lot of diversity in this group. And I don't know, like, of the songs that I do in the morning, this one is probably the most accessible. I know many of you say that it's your favorite when I do it, so it's an important one. And it's interesting to me that it's written, like, it's not necessarily a religious song. It's written by a folk rock group, folk pop. I don't know what Edward Sharpe is. They're famous. They're modern. They are Appalachian. And so it's a modern spiritual song, and I really like it. So, here it goes. I don't wanna pray to my maker. I just wanna be feeling free. Not just who I am, but this pink and golden land and the wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't wanna pray. I don't wanna pray, no, no. I don't wanna pray. We don't wanna pray, pray. Love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, made good, and Anat, Anat made bad. Elohim made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Love Allah. God made, God made, God made. But I don't want to pray to my maker, no. I just want to be feeling free. Not like in a book or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing, no. Pardon God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray. I don't want to pray, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray, pray. Love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, made good, and Anat, Anat made bad. Elohim made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made me. Except it's a lie. None of those gods exist. I made me.
You're
helping
very
me
adorable.
make me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, I'm so glad.
We're doing this thing. We're doing this performance thing. The people liked it very much. We got like 100 new people in the room
Wow.
since you started singing. Isn't that cool? You're cute.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'd be easier if I sang a song that I knew the tune to.
Well, you know, the fact that you've like literally never sang, or I mean, you've heard me sing this a few times, maybe?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay, yeah. So like that was impressive for like the first time ever. And also, I believe in making bad art.
Great. Yeah, making bad art is very important. It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. There's this thing like I'm a character, and I couldn't actually be this character without you all here. And so when I sing this song, I'm like, well, God made. It was like, what the hell is God? Like, it's a social construct. We're making each other, just as we're making God.
No, we're not dating.
No, we are not. Everybody who comes into my room, they wonder if we're dating, and like they're often right.
It's true. It's true. No, we're just friends. I say just as if like somehow, as if friendship is somehow
So,
lesser than dating. It's
we are
not.
we are reincarnations of the glomus fungus, and we are two independent nuclei within the same membrane-bound system, seeking to replicate in all of its diversity over time. That's what we are.
Yeah.
What's next? Next is Arati. We have such kind souls.
Yeah.
Who is the mitochondria? I like that question. It's a
The
little off
powerhouse of the cell.
The mitochondria. No. The correct answer to the question is the mitochondria are our goats. That's the answer. We keep goats. We eat the goats because they convert the energy into more usable energy, right? They turn raspberry into something I can eat. I can't eat raspberry. The goats are the mitochondria. We're part of the nucleus. We're two different nuclei. That's how it goes. If we're going to use this metaphor and use it accurately. So, Arati means light in Sanskrit. Oh, and my flame went out. That's no good. Come back, flame. Went out a while ago. Why am I dressed so strange? 'Cause it gets views. That is why I'm dressed so strange. Good morning, Candy. How are you today? So, very tiny light. Can you even see it? It's very faint. It'll get stronger. Right now it's a little blue light there. Arati means flame in Sanskrit, and this prayer comes from the Shivananda tradition, and it's basically a recitation of different names of God. The first God recited is Ganesha, right? This is elephant-faced God. Ganesh was the son of Shiva. Shiva killed him because Ganesh didn't want him to enter his mother's house when his mother said, "Don't let any bad man into my house." And Ganesh said, "Okay." And then Shiva and Ganesh got into a fight, and Shiva cut off Ganesh's head, and then Shiva's wife was like, "What did you do? You just killed your son. That's not cool. Go and fix it." And so then Shiva goes out into the forest, and he finds an elephant, he chops off the elephant's head, puts it on Ganesh, and now Ganesh is the god of overcoming obstacles, which is why we say his name first. The story's not unlike Yahweh telling Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, only to have it replaced in the last moment by a ram, right? The story of the replaced sacrifice is an old one and a universal one. So we'll say these different names of God. Most of them are from a Hindu tradition, but as we get to the end, there will also be some Abrahamic gurus, because, God is multiple and many. And so, we will begin. Jaya Jaya Ratiya Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Ratiya Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Ratiya Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Rati Venkantaramana Venkantaramana Bhavani Sankara Sambasada Shiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Rati Rajarajeshwari Rajarajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jayarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jayarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutriya Vatara Jaya Jayarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Gurave Jaya Jayarati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jayarati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jayarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jayarati Ayappa Swamine Ayappa Swamine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jayarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jayarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Natatra Suyobati Natandrakaratam Nimavyobati Katoyamani Tvameva Bantamana Bandi Sarvam Tasya Pasya Samitam Vivanti Om Gange Karmane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Sudikave Vihiya Namastitam Ho Namaha. Neither the sun shines there, nor the moon, stars, nor lightning. So from where does its light come? When that shines, all shines after that. By its light, everything else is lit. Matter and light are the same thing. Tvameva mata japita tvameva Tvameva bandusha saka tvameva Tvameva vidya javinam tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Kayena vacha manasendriyarva Buddhyad manava prakrite sabhavan Karomi adyad mangalam parasmahi Narayanaiti sarmar payami Sarvadharmam pravichaya mamekam savarnam vraja Aham sva sarvapapayo mokshayami ma sucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these I dedicate to you.
Ah, cute.
And now we will say Kaddish for all of those people who died yesterday of coronavirus, and for all those other deaths and forms of suffering which have been since our lineage began 3.8 billion years ago, right at the center there, and will continue to cause us to suffer until we are all done, when all of the tips of the tree have ended. And for the last 2,500 years, my ancestors have been saying words that sound a little bit like this in response to death. Yitgadal vitgadash shemei rabba, bi'alma divrach yute bi'amlich mal chudei, b'chayachon uvyomechon uvchayed kol beit Yisrael, bagala ubizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi shemei rabba miva'arach li'alam omei omaya, yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itba'ar v'itramam v'itnaseh, v'itadar v'itale v'itala shemei dekudesha b'rechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechirmata, di'amiran v'yama v'imru, amen. Yehi shlamai rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru, amen. O say shalom b'imrama, hu ya'a say shalom, aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimramav, say shalom aleinu, v'alechol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Thank you all for joining us today. There's so many people here now. They like it when there's more than one person on.
Cool.
I like it a lot. Do you want to eat some rice with me?
I have my own bowl of like rice and salsa.
Do you want to go get it and come
Yeah.
back? And
Yeah.
we can answer questions about mushrooms and communes?
It's right here. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I brought it up.
Okay, well, I'm gonna rotate.
Eat your rice.
I'm gonna rotate the camera, and we can hang out over there.
Okay.
They can eat their own rice. What religion was that? That was a combination of the Shivananda yoga tradition, which is a form of Hinduism, and Judaism, because those are both of the traditions that I have been educated in. All right. Come on, do the thing. There we are. Hey, look, it's me in a screen, in a screen, in a screen, in a screen. There I am. There's the Ouroboros. I'm inside myself. How strange. Okay, glad we got that out of the way. It's an important thing to remember.